Hello, my friends, and welcome to week 2 of Empowerment with Bishop. Um, I'm excited because empowerment this year is going to be really diverse, but I decided that I would open up the year and do some real kind of pushing, nudging, motivational stuff with you. I'm reading this book along with the other 200 books I'm trying to read, but I'm focused on this book right now, The Multipliers. As I stated, it was given to me by the president of Virginia University, Dr. Hakeem Lucas, and I'm grateful for that because he's really trying to push us to read, and as the deans and as the administrative leadership of the school. So I'm grateful for this book, and I want to start by reading something. The book is entitled Multipliers: How the Best Leaders Make Everyone Smarter. Here's what he said. This book begins with a simple observation. There is more intelligence inside our organizations than we're using. It led to the idea that there was a type of leader, those that I call multipliers, who saw, used, and grew the intelligence of others, while other leaders, whom I've labeled diminishers, shut down the smarts of those around them. Here was something that was said early on in the book, and I want to hit you with it. He said they realized that they simply can't afford leaders who waste talent, suppress vital innovation, and slow business growth. After all, why would a company pick result-driven leaders who diminish people when they could have leaders who both deliver results and grow people around them? Increasingly, we are seeing diminishing leaders being asked to adapt or leave. Now, immediately you're going to say, Bishop, what does that have to do with me? I don't own a business. I'm not considered a leader, da, 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 da. Well, remember last week we talked about momentum. And a part of what I want to deal with tonight is something very powerful and very important. And here it is. Momentum is really about how you enable other people to pursue what they are created to be. Wow. Momentum is about how you help other people become what they're created to be. And when you help others become what they're created to be, and you allow your life to be used as a multiplier, then what ends up happening is that people around you want to work for your benefit as well. I'm learning this at every spirit and every stage and every state of my life. Every step that I've taken has been a relational step. It hasn't been a step of me outperforming people. It's been a step of me building relationships which cultivates momentum. There's a lady at the Virginia Union who has become a very important part of my own personal development. And she made a statement to me in a meeting that we were having. The statement was, I knew I was supposed to help you because I saw how you related to other people. And the lesson I learned from you is that relating to other people in a positive way helps me become better at everything I do. You got it? This idea then of building momentum has to really do with building relationships that grow and that develop. I want to push you tonight with this because we're still in the second week, right? We're still in the second week, and things are really moving forward. But the thing that's really deep for me is how God is really pushing me to understand my responsibility to building healthy relationships. So a part of what I want to do is I want to talk about this whole idea of building healthy relationships. Here it is. Building healthy relationships begins with humility. Everyone say humility. Put that on the screen, right? Humility. Humility is the ability to manage situations without becoming engrossed in it from an ego perspective. Humility is about learning how to manage situations without becoming ego driven, right? Because the fact that I'm ego driven means that I'm really in the way of what God wants to do with me. Romans 12:1 says, present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable. Present yourself unto God as if you are a sacrifice. And in the giving of yourself to God, God will in turn transform your mind. God will in turn transform the way you think, the way you manage situations, and humility will work in your favor. One of the most amazing things about being a multiplier is that a multiplier is a relational position. It's a relational status. That when I'm a multiplier, I am literally working out the will of God in ways that causes everybody and everything around me to give themselves to what God has called me to be. This idea then of humility is what we see in Ruth. So I'm going to find it. And turn me to the book of Ruth, chapter 1. Let me see. I am in my Bible and I am finding Ruth. Okay, where it is, Ruth chapter 1. Okay, watch this. Naomi tells her daughter-in-laws, after her sons die, go back to your families and find safety and security there. Ruth answers in verse 16, don't ask me to leave you, let me go with you. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Wherever you die, I will die. And that is where I will be buried. May the Lord's worst punishment come upon me if I ever let anything but death separate me from you. Now, that's deep. That's real heavy. But here's the piece that I picked up. Ruth discerned something about Naomi. And in the end, Naomi delivered it. And Ruth's life was better and put her in the pathway of being a part of the legacy, of the genealogy, of the line of the Messiah. Naomi had that wisdom thing on her. And Ruth put herself in that position of being in relationship with Naomi. And Naomi produced for her the kind of mindset that positioned her for her Boaz. This is so very important because a part of your momentum in this season is going to be your ability to be positioned to ensure that you receive everything that you need to receive. God is really trying to produce you by making you a producer. God's trying to produce you by making you a producer. And the way that you move with God will go a long way into determining whether you're a multiplier or a diminisher, whether you are making people better or you're making people worse, whether people are growing because of you or people are shrinking because of you. This idea then of walking in success and walking in the fullness of the things that God has for you has to do with you learning then how to manage relationships. This is so important for me. And I've always loved this because I really believe in the power of relationships. I do. I believe in the power of relationships. I believe in the power of relationships. Relationships work for me, right? Relationships work for me. And so there are a couple of things I want to kind of throw out at you about creating momentum through relationships, because one is about humility. The other is about becoming a guardian of someone else's destiny. And in turn, they becoming a guardian of yours. It's about becoming a guardian of someone else's destiny and you becoming a guardian of theirs. Jonathan and David, Elijah and Elisha, right? Jonathan and David, Elijah and Elisha, right? Deborah, as she helped the general fight the battle and become victorious. God places people in your life that helps you become greater than you could have ever been. And that's really one of the most amazing things about this, is that God really does work in your favor when it comes to relationships, right? Relationships then are your ally. I once said, it's my own personal quote. I once said, building partnerships are a valuable part of advancing vision. Building partnerships are a valuable part of advancing vision. What does that really mean? is that, notice the key word, building, which means that relationships that move you into the purpose and plan of God are relationships that are meticulously and amazingly patiently developed. That relationships of successful people are relationships that are meticulously, amazingly, patiently developed. And for many of us, we rush relationships. We rush them and we try to get somewhere so quickly until we actually undermine the process of patient development. And when God gets ready to take you to new and exciting places, God's going to do it. And in 24, God's going to take you to new and exciting places. And my desire for everybody watching is that you recognize the power of patient, amazingly developed relationships. Listen, in the pandemic, I did something called Seminary on Sunday. Seminary on Sunday was about successful, expert-driven preachers teaching their method of preaching, talking about preaching from their own unique perspective. And here's the thing that was so phenomenal. You ready? So phenomenal. Blew my mind, loved it, blew my mind. Napoleon Bradford and Ray Rowson came alongside of me. And I was able to reach out to men and women who were successful preachers. I kind of took advantage of the fact that the pandemic shut everybody down and nobody was on the road. Nobody was really moving around. So they didn't mind. It gave them a little extra money, but more importantly, it gave them a space by which they worked their gift. And it was all built on relationships. That's it. All built on relationships. It wasn't built on nothing else. It wasn't built on being smarter than anybody. It wasn't built on being shrewd and plotting. It was, these folk are in my phone. I'm going to show you. Everybody that was in Seminary Sunday was in my phone. All of these great men and women were in my phone. It's all relationships. And what God wants you in 2024 to understand is that when you create real momentum, you create it through real positive, strong, healthy relationships. And I'm telling y'all now, these relationships are going to blow your mind. Now, I only got a couple more minutes, but I'm really trying to get you to understand something. One of my favorite quotes, and Ray's going to put it on the screen, one of my favorite quotes is by Ben Stein. Ben Stein. He says, personal relationships are the fertile soil from which all advancement, all success, all achievement in real life grows. Ben Stein wrote, personal relationships are the fertile soil from which all advancement, all success, all achievement in real life grows. This is what I want you to get in 2024, that you must become a multiplier. Whether you are a business owner or you are a part of a sorority, a fraternity, you got a circle of friends, you are a husband or a mother or a dad, husband, dad, wife, you are a sibling, whatever you are, a circle of friends, you become a multiplier. What does that mean? You look for the best in people and then you help them develop it. You look for the best in people and then you help them develop it. That's what you got to do. So I want to throw out three things at you. Then I'm done. First thing is, and I'm guilty, so I'm singing to the choir tonight. First thing is, stop taking things personally. Some things are not meant to hurt you. Some things are just meant to grow you. So here's what you do. You focus yourself on focusing yourself on things that matter. You focus yourself by focusing. You focus yourself by focusing on things that really matter, which means that there are things that just not going to bother you. Some things are just not going to bother you. And when you understand that people are who they are, I've got people in my life I discovered that's just who they are. They're not going to treat me any better than they treat me. They're not going to manage me any better than they manage me. They're not going to appreciate me any more than they appreciate me. They are simply going to treat me the way they treat me. What I've got to do is not give them the power of advancing their negativity in my life by me making it a part of my daily thoughts. At some point, you have to begin to understand that there are some people who just aren't going to be on your team, even if they're wearing the same jersey. just not going to play with you well. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, God will protect you and God will get you to where you need to get to. That's very, very important. Don't take it personally. Second thing is forgive quicker than you hold a grudge. Forgive quicker. Wait a minute. Let me phrase that. Forgive quicker than you hold a grudge. There you go. Forgive quicker than you hold a grudge. Do not hold a grudge longer than you are willing to forgive. Forgive so quick as you can, so that grudge doesn't settle. I get it. It's hard. I get it. But remember, you're trying to create momentum for your life. Remember, you're trying to get to next steps and next places and next realities. Remember, you are serious about growing and developing and creating momentum. Can't give you that kind of power anymore. And I'm making that decision in my own life. I can't give people that kind of power. I just can't, because I'm doing some really amazing things. I don't need the amazing things I'm doing to be damaged by someone who doesn't value who I am. Okay? So don't take it personal. Forgive quicker than you hold a grudge or you get angry. His third thing, invest in other people and stay open to who God will use to invest in you. Invest in other people and stay open to who God will use to invest in you. Because here's the joy of investing in others. God then opens you up, right? I was in Detroit on Friday and Saturday of last week. Amazing, because I went there to talk to a group of people about the school, right? Because a young man named Walton Smith, who I've known for a few years, I reached out to him a few months ago and said, hey, man, the Lord dealt with me about it's time for you to go to school. Literally, his brother started crying and was like, Bishop, Dean, I never thought about it. I kind of wanted it, but I'm not sure how it could happen. But the fact you called me. So he invited me to Detroit. And I got a chance to speak and minister. And it was so crazy because what God showed me in that moment was that relationships will put you in front of people. And your gift will give the legitimacy of the relationship that God used to put you in front of people. That the people that God is ultimately using you to bless, they will be legitimized by you. The relationship works. This is a season where you're creating momentum. We're not slowing down. We're not slowing down. We're in an amazing season as a church. We're not slowing down. We're in an amazing season as individuals. We are not slowing down. So because we're not slowing down, don't give in to anything and anybody that tries to block you, but stay open to the anybodies that are committed to helping you develop and grow. So there you have it. Week 2 of year 2024. Let's go be great. Let's go be amazing. Let's go be extraordinary.